my name is Anna. Welcome back to my kitchen, and today I'm going to show you how to make my favorite barbecue ribs. These are the ultimate barbecue ribs. They are so delicious, they're so flavorful, and they are an absolute crowd pleaser. They are literally like fall off the bone, delicious, flavorful. They're just perfect. So here I have, as you can see, a rack of ribs. I'm using some St. Louis style spare ribs. I also really like baby back ribs. Here I have my ultimate barbecue. Well, it's not barbecue, it's just like my ultimate dry rub. This rub is the absolute best. I use it on everything every time I barbecue, or even if I don't barbecue, I want to make some barbecue chicken or some barbecue ribs, whatever it is. I love this rub. There's quite a few ingredients in here, that's why it's so good, because it's so flavorful. There's both regular paprika and smoked paprika for the beautiful smoky flavor, dry mustard, tiny bit of cayenne, tiny bit of cinnamon, tiny bit of cumin, brown sugar, salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and some chili powder. The chili powder provides, again, some really nice smokiness with a tiny bit of heat. I don't like my rub very spicy because, like I said, it's very versatile, so I like to put it on pretty much everything. I'm just going to quickly mix everything together with my little whisk. Just kind of breaking down the brown sugar. So that you can find a full written recipe on my website, anitasdelightsrecipes.com, or in the description box. I always leave a direct link to it. I'm gonna massage it with my hands. I think I'm gonna get the job done a little bit quicker this way. And depending on the size of your rib, this is about a 4-pound rib. You might need less rub. So now I flipped my ribs, and here in the back there's a tiny little, let me get some paper towel, makes the job a little bit easier. There's this membrane that we have to get rid of, right? This will allow your ribs to really fall off the bone. I'm using a knife to kind of like cut through it a little bit. Be very careful when you do this. Once you have it, you can literally rip it off. Sometimes it comes out together, sometimes it doesn't. So you gotta work with it and just like rip all of this little membrane off. I've also patted dry my ribs with a paper towel very well. Now that I've removed all of the membrane, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to brush it with a little bit of regular mustard. Let me tell you, if you guys know me, you know I don't like mustard. Well, I don't like regular mustard, but this mustard is going to act as a binder for the rub. And let me tell you, you don't really taste it. I was a little skeptical at first. I learned this little trick from the good old TikTok, and you really don't taste it like at all. And mustard really complements pork in a very beautiful way. So I recommend that you add a little bit of mustard. I would always do just a little bit of olive oil to bind the rub. But let me tell you, mustard is so much better, and I promise you, you won't really taste it because you only need a little bit. Okay, I just washed my hands real quick because now we're going to add the rub. And I like to add a generous amount to each side. I like to cover the whole thing. And now I'm going to just pat it in. Some people don't like to add a rub when they're making barbecue ribs, because the barbecue sauce, of course, already has some flavor. But let me tell you, if you don't add a very flavorful rub to your ribs, you're not doing it right. You are not doing it right. Okay, so mustard on the other side. Okay, this is nicely coated. Now we go in with the rub. You might have some rub left over, but that's fine because you can keep it in a container and it will last you for a very long time. So you can always have it on hand and you can put it on anything you want. This is looking wonderful already. Now, I am going to let it rest for about 30 minutes before I pop it in the oven. If you want to do it overnight, even better. The flavor is going to really just penetrate the ribs and it's going to be delicious, but about 30 minutes will do. While this rests, you want to start preheating over to 275 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to cover it very tightly with a foil, and then I'm going to pop it in the oven for about 2 hours to 3 hours. Once we do that, I'll show you the final result. We cover it with some beautiful barbecue sauce, which I'm going to record the video right now for my homemade barbecue sauce, so you can have it in a separate video. Again, you can use it for absolutely anything and everything, and it's delicious. My ribs were in the oven for 2.5 hours. They are exactly where I want them. Now we have our homemade barbecue sauce. Remember, this is in a separate video, which I'm going to link. And I'm gonna brush this all over. This barbecue sauce is absolutely glorious. So I'm going to first add a good amount of the sauce on the ribs. You also want to bring up the heat in your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I can already tell these are gonna be glorious. Now we have to flip them. Let me get my tongs, and I'm gonna flip them very gently, because of course we don't want them to break because they're really tender. Good amount of sauce. We're gonna repeat this process twice. We're gonna layer on the sauce. We're gonna put it in the oven, and then we're gonna take them out, add more sauce, and pop them right back into the oven. And the sauce is going to get really sticky and delicious. Like, look at this, like the bone literally coming out. That's why you have to be really careful, because they can, it will break on you. This is gonna go back into our oven uncovered. Remember, at 350 for 15 minutes. Then I'm going to remove it from the oven again, and I'm going to brush more barbecue sauce on top. Then I'm going to pop it in the oven for another 10 minutes, and then we get to the eating. The ribs out of the oven, remember, I brushed them with some barbecue sauce, popped them in for 10 minutes, brush more barbecue sauce, pop them in again for 10 minutes. And now, if you want, and only if you want, you can add one last very thin coat of barbecue sauce. I'm not even gonna let these rest. I'm gonna degrade it, and I want you guys to, I already showed you, but I want you guys to see how tender they are, that the bone literally comes right off. I have some baked potatoes, bacon in the oven, and they are going to be so good. I also have some corn, and this is gonna be a delicious, delicious dinner. Let me see. Right here. Oh goodness, this is so juicy. It is also very, very hot, so gotta handle with care. I'm trying to see if there's a bone. So tender, so darn flavorful. You have the delicious flavor from the barbecue sauce, the delicious flavor from the rub. The ribs are extremely tender. These are just perfection. Hope you guys enjoy my ribs recipe. They're just so incredibly perfect. Read a recipe on my website. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.